submissions were made, I have seen something playing out. It's like the parties involved are all jittery. They are jittery, they don't know how it will swing. And if you look well, there is a general listing to say the sitting government already harassing tribunal judges with their state police and all that, trying to, in fact, from the Supreme Court, trying to make them know that if you don't play it our way, it will be difficult for you. That's all that kind of, the government have come to deny it. So, you see, but what I want to say that this is a time that our immediate past governor and the governors should be state-manly. Judicial officers, normally by their ethics, are not supposed to be found, especially in any suspicious way, with state actors. And that's what I want to say. Let us, if you look at it over, there are people that are like introverts because of the nature of their job. And I think that is what is planned. It's not like a government function, a state function. This function is so elementary in terms of the essence of the function.
Okay.
That a state governor should leave his state and begin to pursue. There are a lot of ways you can get across. You can send your commissioner.
All right.
You can send lower state officers who to go and represent you.
Okay.
But it's like when you see, they say when you see a chameleon in a kind of place. Because I must tell you that the last time we heard about, there was one of the judges in the presidential panel, they say wanted to resign. But he had almost resigned, I think from Bayelsa also. And one of the things that was being alleged was that there were pressures on them from the executive to give certain judgment to people in government and all that. So, in a time like this, a man who just started his pension should relax.
All right. Comrade Izo.
And I think they have right for the social life, but we think that we should be ethical and be more circumspect.
All right. Comrade Izo.
There's nothing wrong about it.
Is it okay? You didn't follow the story.
Even if he heard it,
It's time to go.
he heard all.
We'll just tell him bye-bye and go.
You say, Kelly, what they are alleging could also be true. This is election time, election petition tribunal time. Nothing that does not happen. You see, the judges are not angels. That is the way they meet them and all that. Whether they send it through the night or whatever, there are also those who are working the night who must pick them once they make a move. But the issue is that it didn't start in this one now. It's been happening. So as it's been happening in the past, it will happen now, and nothing will finally happen that will be special about it. Either you take, you give, and all that, and they pronounce winners and all that, or they consolidate on what the pronouncement INEC has meant. That is just it. For me, nothing will be special.
This same thing has happened, I think, in 2015 after the state elections. The governor then was elected before the Supreme Court. I think he lost in the tribunal appeal, and then before the Supreme Court. You know, I see him, and a lot of person knows he's a social person. They knows he's kind of public person. For me, I believe that a lot happens within the political space, and as at this point, that's why I always, without holding brief for anyone, I always blame the judiciary. If what has been alleged is even true, I always blame those. They are the ones to make themselves seem like people know that the judiciary has this sanctity and they have this. You have a way you keep yourself, and Kelly, I will deal with you that way. It's as simple as that.
All right. We have to go. Let me begin with Comrade Ruben Izu, Jr., Public Affairs Analyst, Chairman, NDNAF, River State Chapter, and a voice of Ngani Kingdom. Thank you, sir.
You know you're my man. Aloha.
Five-Face Dumna Five-Face, Environmental Justice Activist and Executive Director, Youth and Environmental Advocacy Center. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, all.
Bishop Ambassador Dr. Ibioku G. Bob Manuel, presiding bishop, joins hands in his Kingdom International Ministry and strategist. Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you, Kelly, for this long day. God bless you.
And Mr. Emmanuel Indukwe, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Nigeria.
Well, that's our show. Well, thank you all for being part of the conversation. At noon, the world news, Lucky Max already in the studio, and more. It doesn't mean you have a lot of exciting content and programs lined up from now till shutdown. I think that's about 1 a.m. All right, with Today 95.1 FM. I am Kelly Ikemenjima. Good morning. Thank you all. Have yourselves a great day.
Cultism is a monster whose ravaging effects have left tales of woes such as loss of lives, kidnapping, drug abuse, threats, destruction of properties, blackmail, rape, and many other ills in society. In our society today, poor parental training, peer pressure, poverty, quest for power and social identity are the leading factors that contributes to youths indulging in this act. Again, peace can be restored to our society only and only if we attach value to human lives. And this would bring about rapid development to our community. Say no to cultism. This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
Corruption is a dishonest action that destroys people's trust. Corruption takes many forms and can be interpreted by many people in many ways. It is hard to enter into any sector in Nigeria without observing one corrupt practice or the other. The faces of corruption ranges from political, universities and college, bank sector, the civil service, even the religious bodies. In Nigeria, factors like greed, poor youth empowerment, poverty, unemployment, etc. are said to be responsible for corruption. However, no reason is good enough to be corrupt, because corruption is capable of crippling our economy, raise poverty level, bring about national crisis, as well as poor national development. Stop the embezzlement and misappropriation of public or government funds, bribery, malpractice, man no man, and treat all citizens equally today. A corrupt-free nation is possible. This message is powered by your premium talk radio Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
Are you in search of a place to do all your audio recordings? From jingle, documentaries, church messages, and lots more.
Are you in search of a platform to give your business maximum exposure? Look no further. Come advertise with Today FM. With our unbeatable reach, we'll give your business the boost it so dearly needs. Visit us now at number 1 Today FM Drive off East West Road, Rumekini, Port Harcourt. Whatever the business is, we'll give it a voice.
Corruption is a dishonest action that destroys people's trust. Corruption takes many forms and can be interpreted by many people in many ways. It is hard to enter into any sector in Nigeria without observing one corrupt practice or the other. The faces of corruption ranges from political, universities and college, bank sector, the civil service, even the religious bodies. In Nigeria, factors like greed, poor youth empowerment, poverty, unemployment, etc. are said to be responsible.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered. On air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. This is the World News on your premium talk radio Today 95.1 FM. And the headlines: abductors of Director of News, River State Broadcasting Corporation demand 150 million naira. Suspended CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele pleads not guilty to charges against him by the federal government. On the foreign scene, Israeli police clash with crowds of protesters after Parliament adopted highly controversial law to limit Supreme Court's powers. I am Lucky Maxwell. The abductors of a Port Harcourt-based journalist and director of news, River State Broadcasting Corporation, Prisba Anthony Wokocha, have contacted her family to demand a ransom of 150 million naira. The husband of the journalist Anthony Wokocha revealed this when members of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, River State branch, paid a visit to the family to empathize with them on the unfortunate incident. Wokocha said the kidnappers contacted him on Saturday and asked him to get 150 million naira ransom for his wife's freedom. He also disclosed that the matter is being handled by a special unit of the Nigerian police in charge of kidnap cases in the River State Police Command. The River State Police Command has confirmed the death of a man identified as Ken in a hotel within Kana Street in D-Line in Port Harcourt City Local Government area. Of the person of the command, SP Grace Iringa Koko, told Today FM that a staff of the hotel was made an official report at the Oluobasanjo Police Division about the sudden death of a guest in their hotel. The PPRO noted that the DPO with some detectives have already visited the hotel for preliminary investigation. She said the corpse of the man has been retrieved by the police. It is still unclear whether the deceased lodged in the hotel with a guest or not. In the meantime, a human rights advocate, Prince Wiro, of the Center for Basic Rights Protection and Accountability Campaign, in an interview with Today FM, said information available suggests that the hotel does not have a functional CCTV camera and proper check-in procedure. Wiro, while emphasizing on the need for the police to investigate why the hotel has no functional CCTV, noted that many hotels and guest houses in River State are not adhering to check-in procedures as stipulated by the River State government sometime in 2018-2019, during the period when there was a serial killer in the state.
And there is no proper checking. Those are the things I want the police to look at. And investigations so far have shown that in Rivers, so many hotels are not complying to check-in procedures as stipulated by the Rivers State government sometime in 2018 and 2019, when we have this issue of serial killer leaving women guest house. The instance of complying to check-in procedure, for instance, having CCTV camera, having login registrar, if there are issues, maybe a particular crime took place in a particular hotel, it will be easier for the police in the course of investigation through the CCTV cameras.
A man identified as Daddy Joffrey has accused some police officers of the River State Police Command of extorting 80,000 naira from him after allegedly planting Indian hemp on his body while conducting a search. Godfrey, in a post on social media, which he tagged the Force Public Relations Officer, Chief Superintendent of Police Adejobi Olumuyiwa, explained that on his way to support a friend's party over the weekend, he was stopped by men of the River State Police Command at Ubirikore Junction in Port Harcourt. Godfrey alleged that the police searched him the first time and found nothing on him, but that one of the police officers kept on insisting he was a Yahoo boy, which prompted him to present his identity card to them as a means to clear the doubt about his source of income. He said the officers made him sit down on the floor at a fueling station close to the checkpoint and searched him for the second time, only to see them bring in a parcel of Indian hemp. Godfrey said he was slapped by the officer, handcuffed, and directed that he should pay his driver to leave, while he was made to pay the sum of 80,000 naira as bail, since that was the only money he could access at that time. He called on the police authority to intervene in the matter. In his response, the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa, in a chat with Today FM's Uchendo Joe, assured that the Force headquarters will ask the River State Command to take up the matter, while he will personally follow up with assuring that they will critically and professionally look into it for the sake of justice. Our former governorship candidate in River State, Tonya Princeville, has criticized the organized labor for being too silent on the removal of the subsidy on petrol by the federal government. Princeville, who spoke to newsmen in Port Harcourt, said Nigerians expect to hear more from labor, given the pains and hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal by President Bola Tinubu. He decried that though subsidy removal was not peculiar to Nigeria, but the federal government's decision to do so without putting the necessary measures in place to cushion its effect on the citizens. Prince Philip rather said spending trillions of naira subsidizing fuel is nonsensical, saying governance should create an alternative.
You are doing subsidy. There's nowhere in the world where subsidy is not. So the issue of subsidy is deep. Countries subsidize all the time. But in this country, we have subsidy and we saw that there was a fraud in the subsidy. So in removing the subsidy, what about the fraud? And then look at the pain on the people. So to me, removal of subsidy is the removal of the fraud of subsidy. I agree with the principle of it, I understand. But the measures that need to be put in place, especially when you can see the subsidy ahead of you, didn't just come by surprise. We saw it coming. Palliative measures, countermeasures needed to have been put in place. Things that need to be put in place to make the pain of the people a lot easier. If that has not been put in place, then as far as I'm concerned, there's no excuse. Spending trillions of naira subsidizing fuel is nonsensical.
The outgoing commander, Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder, Rumolumini Port Harcourt, Commodore Ibrahim Sulaiman, has disclosed that over 150 suspects of oil theft and other illegal activities within the maritime area in Rivers State were arrested and handed over to relevant agencies for prosecution. Commodore Sulaiman, who made the revelation during a send-forth event organized in his honor, attributed the achievement recorded so far to the level of training being acquired by the personnel under his administration. Sulaiman commended the Navy personnel for their efforts and as well other sister security agencies for their collaboration in ensuring that the war against illegalities are won.
They were key to the successes of the Nigerian Navy and in particular Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder in its fight against illegalities within the maritime domain of Rivers State. Was particularly instrumental in the increased onshore crude oil production with the effective support and escort provided during the alternative crude barging operations. This of course would not have been possible without the collaboration of the Navy, the oil company. I thank them for their support. I must also recognize the synergy that the base enjoyed with other sister services and agencies. This has no doubt ensured the peaceful.
Members of the host communities of the Niger Delta Petroleum Resources in Rivers State have vowed to resist any further attempt to shut down the operations of NDPR in any community in the state. The chairman of the NDPR host communities, Kipoye Gogo, stated this while reacting to threat by a community in Ahoda East to shut down the company's operation. Gogo, while revealing that operations of the company covers communities, encouraged any individual or community who may not be comfortable with the method of operation of the company to employ legal channels of resolutions instead of threatening to shut down the firm.
NDPR Limited is hosted by 8 communities and their facilities located in these communities. Anything that affects any location or offload station affects the interests of all other communities. Therefore, the continuous threats against facilities of the company is not acceptable to us. Any person or group of persons that have issues with the company should settle with them through legal means or dialogue, as should henceforth stop harassing company staff and other individuals.
A group under the aegis of South-South Elders Progressive Forum in Delta State has written to President Bola Tinubu over an alleged 6 billion naira bribe paid by some people to retain their positions in the dissolved Niger Delta Development Commission Board. The group accused the management of the commission of extorting 30% of contract sums from contractors. In an open letter signed by its chairman, Jolomi Ande, and Secretary General Benedict Aparanta, the forum also expressed displeasure at the recent presidential directive that governing boards of all federal government parastatals, agencies, institutions, and government-owned companies should be dissolved. The Dean, Faculty of Agriculture at the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Ibesemi Etela, says there's a project on ground aimed at improving institutional ecosystem for innovation in the university as well as other tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Professor Otella said this at the end of a 3-day workshop entitled Commercializing Research Results held at the University of Port Harcourt in Choba. The University Don, who is also the coordinator of the project, noted that with a knowledge-based economy, there is a need to create awareness for lecturers to understand the commercial value of the positive research work obtained in course of discharging their official duties. He added that University of Port Harcourt is on the right track in catching up with the top-ranking universities in the world.
In this knowledge economy, there is need for them to understand the commercial value of the positive research results they obtain from their work, so that either way, as the society is benefiting from their findings, they will also benefit from the findings, especially at such a time when we have challenges with funding of the university system in Nigeria. Such a process will definitely increase the net worth of the university system, the researchers, and create the kind of atmosphere that we expect to see within the university system.
This is the World News on Today95.1 FM. We'll be right back after the short break.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Thanks for staying with us. Now the rest of the news. Suspended Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele,